I call Poto Williams, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I must admit that when I reviewed my notes for my first reading speech on this bill, I was less generous than I am going to be in this contribution. Mr Speaker, before the bill had gone through the process which we've heard talked about in this House this afternoon, I had some concerns about its fit for purposefulness for the people of the area that I represent. And my concerns were over the Minister's powers, particularly to acquire and to dispose of land, and at what price he could determine. I was also concerned that the public were by and large excluded from many of the discussions for the facilities and for the future use of particular areas of which they would have a significant interest. But Mr Speaker, I have to say that the Minister has listened to the people of Canterbury and has engaged in a process that has garnered widespread support across the House. It is not entirely perfect, but it has gone a long way to ensuring that the interests of the people of Canterbury have been reflected in the legislation and, more importantly, in the supplementary order paper which will come to this House during the committee stage. Mr Speaker, I really want to focus my contribution on what this means for the people of Christchurch East. And I have to say that during the course of the passage of the last few years, the people of the electorate of Christchurch East have been very vocal about what they would like to see within the residential red zone, which largely sits within the boundaries of the Christchurch East electorate. There have been processes and opportunities for the community to engage, and I want to mention one in particular which happened a couple of years ago, 18 months ago, and that is the Evo Space project. And what that was a computer-driven, IT-driven consultation process for people to actually tell us, those who would be making decisions about the future of their particular area, what they would like to see done with the residential red zone, an extensive area that covers actually some of the most beautiful parts of Christchurch, particularly with the Avon River flowing through it. And there were some fantastic ideas from treetop cafes, from the Eden project through to camellia and rhododendron groves, and things like Barkerton Park, a place to go and let your dog run free. What that process was about was giving the people of the area, who actually have a vested interest, whether they continue to live there or whether they had to leave the area and leave behind a significant part of their emotional attachment to the area. It gave them an opportunity to feel like they could contribute to the future of that particular area. And I would ask that when we are considering plans for the use of the residential red zone, that our ability to communicate well with the community and give them an opportunity to have input into that process is significant. Because it wasn't just about the loss of land, as Honourable Ruth Dyson has expressed it. There were people who lived there, there were families who grew there, there were, on some of the properties, there were heritage trees that had been there for over 100, 125 years. There are people who have significant history attached to the area, Mr Speaker. So they have a vested interest in ensuring that their views and their heart and soul goes into any future development. I just want to finish my contribution by saying I agree with Mojo Mathers that there have been opportunities missed here, particularly around accessibility, but also around ensuring that facilities are not taken out of the area before replacements can be put in. And here I want to talk particularly about the Burwood Birthing Unit, which has been lost to the east of Christchurch because of what happened on Valentine's Day only a few weeks ago, the 5.7 quake, and also the Central New Brighton School pool, which is a huge loss to our community as we don't have a pool in the area. Mr Speaker, I do want to say this has been a very positive process, and I commend, along with my colleagues, the bill to the House.